Hey everyone, this is IK Grande with Demystifying Gay Porn. I wanted to thank you very much for listening to the Demystifying Gay Porn podcast, available wherever you get your podcast, as well as YouTube, where you can watch our interviews, click the like button, click the subscribe button, you can click the bell notification so that way you know exactly when we're uploading new stuff. And as always, I encourage you to leave questions, comment, insult, whatever be the case. Just remember to click subscribe. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is IK Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. Today, I have content creator Alex Tikas with me. Content creator, porn
star adjacent.
Porn star adjacent. Why the adjacent?
I don't think I'm ever going to be what is a porn star?
Yeah.
What exactly happens when you're a porn star?
Yeah, I think that the definition of that has gone by way of
I think it's
the
like,
90s. I don't know.
I mean, it's like I think there are like porn stars, and then there are other guys that are in the scene that are like, oh yeah, I know him.
Julian Torres, who was on season 1, is also in the background, listening,
hovering, but listening.
So tell me a little bit about how you've been during the pandemic and during COVID.
So when the pandemic hit, when we started the beginning of it, Julian was coming back from Europe because he was literally escaping the shutdown. Like as soon as he left the town, it was shut down.
Oh God!
And then all of a sudden, I was like, he's like, I think they're shut. I'm like, you need to get on a plane right fucking now. It was right before his birthday, and he literally came in on his birthday, and it was like defeated because this was going to be his year. You know, he was in Europe. He was about to start these whole tours and whatever. So he came back, and he got here in mid-March, and my gym had shut down. And you know, like when the gym shuts down, it's like that's like
the gays are going crazy.
I was like, I think we need to get out of New York and just go to D.C. because he was living there. So we just left and went and sheltered in place in D.C. And that's what we did. We just sort of like, that was 3 months into our relationship, and we sheltered in place there, created a lot of content. We got a fuck machine. We got like, what did we get? Like we just started creating all of this stuff. I spent the pandemic getting to know my partner, my guy. So, and then I would say right around July or so, late July, the gyms opened up in DC, thank God. So masks and, I mean, what do? Like you adhere to what you're supposed to adhere to. The client situation, because I'm an escort as well, the client situation just sort of like went away. But unemployment for me came in, like, you know, things just sort of like, I was in a very fortunate position because in my prior life, had I continued with either job, because I had 2 jobs before I had this, I would have been literally, had the pandemic hit while I was in that field, I would have been homeless, living with my mother in her spare bedroom. So I was, in all sincerity, I was a lot more fortunate than a lot of people. Ironically enough, because of my fan pages, the fan pages and the content in it's so silly. The content in the fan pages sustained me. And the content that I had stored and ready to be edited and the content we created sustained me during a pandemic while other people with jobs and other people, you know, not to sort of like say karma's a bitch, but the other people that are sort of like downplaying or, of course, they're like, you do that, you know, you know what I mean? And I'm just sort of like, So we got through it, and then July rolled around, things started getting, DC and the adjoining states, Maryland and Virginia, they weren't as severe, the rules, as they are in New York. New York was just like shut down and deal with it. We were fortunate. We could still, at the very least in July, we could start DC is beautiful in the, and we could start at least going back to the gym. I mean, it sounds so fucking privileged, but at least we could do that, and sort of like, and then there was a lot of TV, a lot of binge watching, a lot. I introduced him to Sex and the City, so we just sat down and watched all 10 fucking seasons.
How do you feel about Carrie Bradshaw as a model for a woman?
I mean, I loved it. We loved it, and like that was sort of like that was the show. But Carrie Bradshaw as a woman, like I wouldn't like. She's annoying.
Yeah, because I watched. I had a lot of '90s nostalgia about 2 years ago, and I really just watched almost every show that was made in the '90s or 2000s that I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't really get, or I watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and I was like, "Oh, it's a good show," and I wanted to know what the appeal was of this woman. And I love Sarah Jessica Parker, but Carrie Bradshaw, I don't know, man. She's just like, there's a lot of words that I can use on how she treats guys. And maybe I'm just looking at it from a guy's perspective, but
I think if you're a woman, like, it's totally,
you get it. Yeah.
Like when you, like, I don't know, maybe you'll interview like a woman, and then you should ask her that.
Yeah. Okay. I will. You're right. So you guys, you spent a lot of time watching TV. You spent a lot of time getting to know each other.
Getting to know each other.
Cool.
Really just sort of like relying on each other. I came back to New York for a month and the dog was in D.C., took care of the dog. Like really just finding a teammate, I would say, and like somebody that I didn't want to kill, and somebody that
that's always good.
And somebody like it's like 4 months and I'm still having great sex with this guy.
Yeah.
Like exclusively. Like, whoa.
That's awesome.
It's like, So I was like, what's going on?
When everything opened up or things got a little more lax in New York, what was it like being a content creator during that time?
Listen, you contact people that you want to shoot with, and I'm pretty sure that I'd never lost my sense of smell. I lost my sense of smell in late March, a bit of malaise as well. Julian had malaise as well. And I've been tested for it 3 times, and it came back negative. A couple of them right before a shoot for a film, and they came back negative. And if somebody wants to shoot with me and we're consenting adults, like, let's shoot. Bills need to get paid.
Yeah.
And I've reached a point in my life. Reach a point in my life where like moving forward with 0 fucks is incredibly important.
It's incredibly liberating too.
This job is that people ask me like, how can you do this, whatever this is, and freedom. When I've been flipping burgers, I started flipping burgers at 14. I'm 40. I'll be 48 in August. I was flipping burgers at 14, and I've worked ever since I was 14. And this is the only period in my life where I have freedom. And, it's a job. It is a job, and sometimes it's fun. So a lot of times it's fun. But it's mostly about freedom. And it's, just the ability to sort of like write out your day when a lot of people can't. Like, it's ridiculous, the privilege. If you think about it, and if you have a little bit of common sense about it, it's ridiculous what good things come. You're fucking people for a living. You're fucking people and you're making money at it. And then when you're not, what are you doing? That's sort of like that's the important thing. And I'm engaged with my partner, just sort of like in a day-to-day thing. I get to play with my dog. My family lives around the area. I go to the gym, and if I want to stay for fucking 3 hours at the gym, I stay there. I travel, like, what do you, the rest is up to you. So who can say you get to have fun at your job? And then you're afforded the freedom to do whatever you want. It's luck. I think it's luck.
With that, where are we right now?
Where are we? Where?
Where are we in?
Welcome, everyone. So when talking about the pandemic, my roommate, who was a bartender, who we were both bartenders at one point, he was a bartender. He could no longer afford to live here. He decided to move out. I was this close to moving to D.C., but Julian said, well, I'm coming to New York. And I'm like, well, if he comes to New York, and this used to be my bedroom because it's the biggest room in the house.
Yeah.
And then we were looking at each other and we were like, this is a fuck room.
Yeah.
There's a sling.
Yeah.
There's a massage table. There's a rim chair right behind you.
Oh, I saw it.
There's and it's a place to shoot content.
Yeah.
And it's a place for us to shoot content and for potential. Whatever that potential is right now, we're not too sure of.
This mirror, this is a very, very common sex mirror, and it's from IKEA.
Yeah, this one is probably from IKEA.
Yeah, I've seen it in various sex rooms. It's out of control. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, that mirror's from IKEA.
Yeah. No, we have like 3 of them in the house. So
it serves its purpose.
Small, medium, and large. The large one's in the bedroom. But yeah, this one's...
Yeah.
And we turned it... And it was Julian's sort of like... We're not done by any means yet. But it was... there were a couple of... what inspired me was I had... Filming content, the biggest challenge is editing, and the biggest challenge, I would say the biggest challenge is editing and space.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't it? You know what I mean? So you're like 40 minutes of fucking footage, and I'm like sitting there like me, like I can barely turn on the fucking computer, and I'm like...
I'm fascinated by content creators and all of these models. I'm always interested to see who falls off and who doesn't, because it's not... Everybody thinks, and we were having this conversation on the way here, but everybody thinks... Oh, I'm going to put my dick or my ass on OnlyFans and stuff. Hey, you have to put that shit together.
Dude, like I get people calling me like, I want to do porn. I'm like, no, you don't.
Not right
no,
now.
You don't. And I'll tell you, like, so, camera is important, editing is important. And at that point in time, New York Seed, who I adore, and it's like such a funny story because the guy who runs New York Seed was... When I was a talent agent in my former life, he was a client. And
really?
I'm like, are you so-and-so? And he goes, yeah, do you remember so-and-so who... He's like, yeah, he was my agent. I'm like, naked with a heart on. I'm like, I was your agent.
Get out of here. That's crazy.
And so I love him dearly. And we've shot there. And I shot there because... I didn't have to edit. I didn't have to hold the camera. I just had fun.
Yeah.
And then the next day I had like a 30-minute scene.
Oh, okay. So they take care of all of it at that point.
In exchange for usage rights, which at the time is not such a big deal. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, it's a fair exchange as far as for some people it's not. For me, it's a fair exchange. And now... just sort of like elevating, it's sort of like, that was sort of like the first season, season. And now in the second season, we sort of like, we're not using it we're using it for us with other people in it. And, ideally having a cameraman would be great to come in and just like pay him by the hour.
Oh, I have someone that you might be able to use.
Thank you. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk later. So that's what we've turned it into. And it's been, nonstop. Fun. And that's what it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Once it becomes too much craziness and too much work and too much studio-like, which is what a lot of people are in danger of becoming. And it's just the nature of the game, I think. It's
like,
just...
so my favorite studio is like, it's Fraternity X.
Oh my God, I love Fraternity X. Are you kidding me?
X
and Sketchy.
They're like my favorites because literally they're just...
Yeah, it's a little too much chaos, though. It's a little too much chaos.
It's like, oh, you're just
like, can you imagine? But can you imagine being the one editing that scene, though?
Nightmare.
There's like 4 different cameras.
But they're like my favorite.
The only thing I don't like about them, and I'm gonna totally call them out. I know a fake cum shot when I see one, and they fucking fake their cum shots more often than not.
I'm like an idiot. I'm like, oh my God, they just keep coming and coming. And then somebody like told me there was no fucking Santa Claus all of a sudden when they told me like they're fake. No, they're not.
There are a couple of real ones in it, but I've watched, I can see the tube. There's a tube underneath and you see it coming out.
What's his name? Oh, the skinny guy with the tattoos. That's like every one of them. But
Him?
Ari Nietzsche, who was in a couple of them, and he was in a very popular one, and like he came like 5 times, right? And I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah. I think that when you're watching all of that, and they're all hot. I don't understand like how they must be by a college or something, and these guys need money. But
Like,
I know a couple of models that have done scenes there.
Sure.
But
So do I.
other than that, I don't know all the other people that are in those scenes.
just getting those guys together, it's like they don't look professional in any way, shape, or form, which is like hot.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
It's fucking on camera should be like there just happens to be a camera in the room. That's sort of my thing.
I like that too.
You know what I mean?
But I also like close-ups.
You like close-ups.
Certain close-ups.
I mean,
You know,
I
like-
just watching porn since I was like 10.
Okay.
And eventually, yeah. I know.
Straight porn or gay porn?
Straight.
Okay.
Like my Greek, I was like 10, and my friend is like, come to my house, and I just like watched the A-Team. It was the A-Team. I'll never forget it. And it was like it was like an orgy. It was like people were. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom right now. And I keep going back and forth, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was the craziest. I don't know if I should have been exposed to that. It's like such a thing, but it was hot.
Yeah,
like, don't get me wrong.
How old were you?
I was 10. I was
Okay.
like, I want to say 9 or right around that time, and I was like, what the fuck? That was hot.
Yeah.
It was great.
You have a Greek friend. You are Greek.
I am Greek. Yeah,
Greek
yeah.
American, and you grew
First
up.
generation.
You grew up where?
I grew up in Jamaica, Queens, on the
You
south
grew up in
side.
Queens,
There you
okay,
go.
yeah.
There was the side where Donald Trump grew up on the north
Oh,
side.
okay, yeah.
Which is Jamaica Estates. And then there was Hillside Avenue, and then you were in the south side.
Oh, boy. You guys own Donald Trump. You know that, right?
Well,
Queens
we own
owns
Nicki
Donald
Minaj.
Trump. You got to take it.
We own Nicki Minaj. We own LL Cool J. We own Queen Latifah. And we own Donald Trump.
I'm actually very familiar with this area. So I have a Greek friend that lives not too far from
It is,
here.
yeah.
And that it seems like every time I come into Queens, it's always the same exit I have to take. Exit 31.
Oh, yes.
I think so.
Astoria
I take
Boulevard.
exit
Or
31.
you end up in the Bronx.
I either go straight or I make today was the first time I made a left. I always make a right or straight. So I was like, okay, this is a different area of Queens.
Yeah.
But I've been to Icon. Is that
Yes, it's the gay
I've been to
bar.
Icon.
We do like RuPaul's Drag Night
love that.
when before pre-pandemic.
Yeah,
we would
yeah.
all go and watch RuPaul like every week. There, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. It's very Jersey-esque, which I'm from. So it reminds me. Yeah, it reminds me of
Feathers.
Feathers. Yeah, poor Feathers. I don't know if they're gonna make it through this pandemic. But
Nobody is.
so you grew up in a Greek family.
Grew up in a Greek family. Just single parent,
Mm-hmm.
mom. There were 3 of us, and we're all just sort of like these titans. And she's sort of like 5'2", and she's like
Guys,
smacking us around.
all guys.
No, my
No?
brother and my sister, but
Okay.
we were all just sort of like big people, and
Mm-hmm.
she's like this tiny woman, and I left the house, and at about 21 or so, because I started acting.
Okay. Which let's. Do you want to get into that?
No,
Is that
sure,
cool?
sure,
Okay,
sure,
so
sure,
you're before you got into.
Before I did this,
Porn.
I was a musical theater performer, and then I left the business because I got an opportunity to work at a really big talent agency
Okay.
for a theatrical agent. And after that, I left and started working for a talent manager,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of like, you're like into 90s, so it was like basically Joey's manager from Friends.
Okay.
So, what was her, Sylvia? What was her name? Like, Estelle, thank you. He does everything. So it was Estelle. So I basically worked for Estelle for a couple of years, and then opened up my own department for somebody, and then opened up my own business. Had my own. I represented Broadway performers, Broadway television. I discovered Azealia Banks.
Oh,
Before
okay.
Azealia Banks
Yeah.
became Azealia Banks, like I found her at LaGuardia. I had her for like a couple of months. And then she's like, I wanna rap. I'm like, okay, girl.
Go do it. Yeah.
And then like I'm just sort of like doing my thing, and then like 212 comes out, and I'm like, So I did that for a while. So fast forward to about 20, and I did that for almost 20 years. So fast forward to about 2018, and I was doing that. I was bartending, and then my boss at the bar, who shall remain nameless because there are a couple of bosses there that I adore, decides to fire me to hire his husband's side piece.
Oh, geez.
And I didn't find that out. I was being terminated because I just wasn't the right fit for the bar. I was too outspoken for happy hour.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
But then I find out that the side piece was hired, who was ultimately terminated from the bar for whatever reason. And then, but in that month when I was terminated, I was at the talent agency, commission-based business only, and like all of a sudden, $5,000 of my savings just disappeared in a month, just living, and I was like, oh no. So like, what the fuck am I going to do? Because I'm never bartending again. I'm never going through that fucking bullshit again. And I used to hustle in my late 20s, and I was like, well, I guess like daddies are in, let me see what I could. I went on Rentman. I used my credit card.
Huge market for daddies.
Yeah. Daddy niche. Yeah. Rough dad, rough trade.
Dad rough trade. Okay.
So I started and it just, like a pebble, like it just started avalanching, and I was doing very well, and it was fantastic. And then I couldn't get hard, but because sometimes you just can't. And then I discovered Trimix, and I'm like, there we go, we're done.
The pharmaceutical industry is such a big part of the porn industry.
Oh my god! And they're like, thank you, Jesus. So that sort of like turned into OnlyFans and content. And I was involved in a relationship with somebody who was sort of like in charge of it. And then I was like, well, I want to kind of do porn as well. Like, why not? I have an OnlyFans. So I got into a bit of a scuffle with my ex at the time about that. I'm like, so I can be a hooker and I can do OnlyFans, but I can't do porn. And that just sort of like that relationship ended. And then I had to learn. So how to do my own content. And it wasn't about like 2-minute scenes, which is what he wanted to do. They're paying $5 for your page.
Gotta give them...
No. They're paying $5 for your page, and I'm like, it's 20 cents a day. No. They are paying $5, and if they are paying $5 for their page, and some of these guys are charging like 15, and deservedly so. Yeah. Mazel tov. But like they're paying $5 for. They want to see that.
You got to give them at least 10 minutes or something.
You got to give them at least, and I give them like 15 or 20, cool. Part 1, part 2, Yeah. So it just turned into like a great means of income. And the goal ultimately is to just sort of like have like 2,000 fans and eventually stop escorting, which is sort of like, I would say it's like a huge chunk of what I generate right now. And they sort of like, the more you do, like I shot for Treasure Island, and then I shot for Raging Stallion, which was like crazy. It was like my first, that was like the biggest.
Yeah, what was that experience?
Oh my God,
like?
Amazing. Steve Cruz was amazing. That was his last.
But it's very different from shooting from like Treasure Island.
No, they flew me out there, and it was Alexander Kristoff and Teddy Torres, and I'm like, what? Yeah. That was like World Series for me, because those like that is, I'm such a fucking cliche. Like that's just like it, those are the guys. So it was perfect. They were lovely. Everybody was lovely and professional and like.
Well, yeah, but regarding like shoot times and stuff. Like
no, we banged it out. We banged it out.
We banged
it out in 4 hours.
Okay, all right, that's interesting.
Yeah, we got everything we needed to get in 4 hours. It's been nominated, I think, a couple of times. Look, it's just like thank you. I barely but I couldn't believe it.
It's just nice to be nominated.
No, trust me, because I know how this works. But it's such a funny business. Yeah, such a funny business. But it was just like it was great. The whole experience was great. And then I saw who was there for that particular shoot, and I'm like, it was. I'm so bad with names, but I was like, whoa. Like, yeah. Loved it. I had a wonderful time.
Cool,
and then Treasure, but my sort of like the main. So I went to Fort Lauderdale with Julian, and we banged it out for all of those studios down there. That was fun. And then Treasure Island has been sort of like the New York sort of go-to here. They're great.
Yeah, no, I love
Yeah.
the reason why I say it's different is because we're so used to California studios being 8-hour days, 10-hour days,
Yeah.
that our shoots are like 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops, and we get our shit done and we
I
go.
shot at Treasure Island with Nate Stetson.
Mm-hmm.
We were out in an hour.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And it's all based on the performer.
Yeah.
Like you guys
We
make
had,
it happen.
Yeah,
That's
we
what,
had a good. I had a good time.
we're just there following it around, like.
No, that was fun.
That's always fun. Whenever
That's
you guys have
always-
like scenes where it's
So that's why it's important. Like I think you got to ask.
Mm-hmm.
You got. I mean, you got to tell them who you would like to shoot with.
Yeah.
What kind of guys you're into.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get casting as casting. I mean, I'm from that world. So I'm a big guy. So when you're getting like a really tiny twink, it looks amazing on camera. I shot with somebody, couple of guys recently that are literally like half my size.
Mm-hmm.
That looks great on film. Not necessarily the guy that I want to shoot with, but they were hot and it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially when I do some casting, I don't know, man. I like asking what you're into because, and if you haven't met this person but you're really into them, you're gonna look forward to meeting them.
It just makes everything a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm assuming you've gone into a shoot like with a twink or something, and that might not be your style, but you were like, "Fuck it, we'll make it work."
I've had to do that, but it didn't sort of like get to a particular level where I didn't want to actually be there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, ugh, let's get no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to tell people try mixing a BFA. The rest you can figure out.
Yeah. Okay. What's what kind of stuff are you guys getting into? I saw a fisting video just recently.
It's funny.
You got fisted.
So, I love him so much, and I'm going to tell one of the reasons why I love him so much is because it's like the only way in my history, in my life history, that I was able to get fisted was when I was like cracked out of my brain, like high, like. And then your inhibitions just sort of like go out the window, and then you get hurt, of course. So, yay. But Julian was like, oh no. You just grab that bottle of poppers right there, and I'll take care of the rest. And all of a sudden, this guy's hand is in my hole, and fast forward to like, I'm sort of like I want you to fist me, like, right. I'm asking for it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we're doing a lot of that. I mean, we've shot our couple of scenes together. We shoot a lot of content in 3 ways together. The fetishy stuff, the fisting stuff, is kind of intimate for me. He's the only one that does it to me. I've had his, I like to call his trainer, the guy that taught him things, fist me when we were down in Fort Lauderdale. And he's awesome, but like I was just so uncomfortable because I guess I'm just sort of like used to the way he tosses my salad. So nobody, and I'll bottom and like a lot. Like I love to bottom, but he's the only one that sort of, it's a little, I don't know. He's like he kind of breaks the barrier a little bit. I can trust him. I trust him.
Yeah, that I think when it comes to fisting, and I'm only speaking from somebody that's seen it close, but it's a lot of trust.
I can't tell you.
You're inside of somebody.
I mean, and the only other the other way I know it is when I'm like not here, when I'm not present, and when I'm not present, it's not safe for me. So trust plays a major factor. So that's kind of where it is.
Filming now, with you said you do 3 ways. You invite other people in and stuff. Yeah. How much work is that? How much work is finding people? How much work is actually talking to other people and saying, "Hey," and getting it done?
You go on Twitter, you see who you like if they happen to be in New York, and you just reach out. I know what I bring to the table. I know what Julian brings to the table. And we know what we can do for somebody who is particularly starting out. Okay. But even if you're starting out, if you're not into us, you're not into us. And there have been a couple of guys that were just like, why isn't he talking to us? Like, and he's not talking to us because he's not into it, which is great, which is fine. But not as difficult. It's not difficult. You just ask. If you don't ask,
I mean, I'm sure you come across flakes. You come across people that just say, "Oh, I want to do it," and then come time to shoot, they're no longer.
There are a couple of guys that are. We're no longer going to be contacting that person.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people they need their content too. So we've been lucky, I would say.
What would you say the content community is like? Like the people that are like you guys is it friendly?
Yes.
Okay.
Friendly. Like, you're coming to my house, so if you're an asshole, you're gonna go. You know. When I've shot at New York Seed, or when I've shot with, there are about 12 guys. I would say, Atlas has been great. Like, Atlas really helped. Macho Grant is another one of the Grant family. McEnroth was sort of like my first experience, and he's just sort of like he's like the ICM, the talent agency of like porn people, because he's just sort of like so business about it and like so professional and.
You do have to be, though. That's one thing that people were having an issue with was 2257 paperwork, taxes.
Taxes are important. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes.
Yeah.
But the fan pages, they send you the W-2s. Pay your taxes.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about you guys, and I kind of feel like I kind of do you want to come in?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, we'll set up another microphone.
Okay.
All right. We are back. Julian Torres is joining us now. Julian, how are you?
Hey.
You've been in the background this whole time listening, and I've heard some conversation come up, and I saw you like, no, that's not true.
Wait a minute. So, yeah. So I was like, let's get him in.
Espérate. Very novela-esque. How have you been?
Good.
Yeah. How's New York treating you?
Very excited about moving to New York because I feel like I'm more compatible with this city. I feel like DC is a beautiful city. However, I feel like there's some beauty in the dirt when it comes to New York. Yeah. So even though it's such a hectic and crowded and dirty city, there's some beauty in it, and that's what makes New York unique. Mm-hmm. So I love it. Yeah. I love New York.
Yeah. So you guys quarantined together. You were together this whole time.
We did in DC.
Do you share the same sentiments?
Yeah, actually, that's I feel like the whole pandemic either helped people to get divorced or get closer
or get together. Yeah,
exactly. Or
really no in between.
In fact, for us was the opposite of getting divorced. It was getting to know each other, and it was really, really beautiful to get to experience every day with a person, like not having any plans or anything to do other than just like, okay, what are we gonna watch today? Or he was like, what are you gonna cook today? And I'm a good cook. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know.
Venezuelan hot dogs.
Yes. And he's like, what is that? You're just making that up. I'm like, I'm gonna
with potato chips.
No.
Groundbreaking.
No. So actually,
it's delicious.
Yeah. I'm gonna. It's actually like of course, a sausage, the hot dog, potato chips, corn, bacon, sauces, and also how do you call it? A coleslaw.
Coleslaw.
Oh yeah. Coleslaw.
Yeah.
Isn't it coleslaw German?
That's good.
I was very happy.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun, and also, of course, I used to live in DuPont Circle, so it was a 1-bedroom apartment. So it was like living in Manhattan. It was the center of the city, so it was a 1-bedroom apartment with the dog. So it was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot going on.
You guys were right on top of one another.
So when are you going back to New York?
No, that was like back in September. We started in March, so in September I was like,
maybe I need a little me time.
I think we needed a little me time.
So I was like, of course you need me time. Are you crazy? It was dope because we were right on top of each other, and I said to him, I'm so fucking proud of you for opening your mouth and not worrying about my feelings for something that you need. Like, you need to just quiet. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you need to not worry about anything except just sort of being caught up in yourself for whatever reason. And I was like, those were like these little things that happened that I was like, wow, this guy like trusts me enough not to worry about my feelings so that he can say what he needs to say to get what he needs to get.
Yeah.
So that was very important.
And that was very meaningful too, for him to understand that.
Yeah.
And
that's a step. That's a very relationship wise. If you can be that honest with people.
Oh my God. Yeah, we've gotten very
honest.
Right. We've been very honest.
We have. Seriously.
Yeah, so,
like, the fact that we are able to understand feelings, like, I think this is a jealousy issue.
Yeah.
So of course,
here's why I'm jealous.
Okay.
Here's why I'm jealous.
Here's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, and I think it's fine because feelings are natural. It's it's part of who we are as human beings. So.
Does jealousy come up with you guys working with specific models or with that in general?
I think I'm going to tell him because this involves you a little bit. When he told me that he was going to shoot with Joe Ox.
Oh, Joseph Ox.
I was like, because tiny porn crush on the guy, and I was like, well, why can't we're kind of like we look like like I'm getting like FOMO, you know what I mean? And I was like, all right, this is what's happening. Here's why it's happening. And then you sort of like write it out, and then it goes away. I was like,
oh my God, yeah, I remember this. I got a tweet, or not a tweet, a message from you.
Yeah.
We spoke about it because I was like, no, you have no idea. Like I
didn't phrase it that way. I was very PC. I was very PC about it. I was like, hey, I hope we shoot together.
Yeah, yeah. And there are just sometimes where
trust me, I like being like again, and that's my history in the business in general. Like my form, like I get it, and I was like, it's like Alex, just like relax because you're being an idiot right now, and everything's gonna be okay. But the jealousy, to answer your question, it's just like it's jealousy. So it's like it's weakness. Mm-hmm. Jealousy is weakness. Like what am I gonna be jealous about? This guy chooses to be with me, right?
Yes,
and. You're with a guy that chooses to be with you, you have to understand that he may choose not to be with you. It has nothing to, it's a very difficult road to go down. And it's just words, it sounds easy, but he chooses to be with you in this business, and with these opportunities that come up for him, we're going to go to Spain and
we already have plans.
We already plan to go to Spain, and I need to realize that there's
you guys are both going to get a lot of attention.
Right. I told him the thing is that you have no idea.
And the guys in Spain,
I'm like a little more niche than he is. You know what I mean? I get the whole daddy thing, but he's young. Like I wish I'd started with that fucking brain and that everything. I wish I had started. I would be Jeff fucking Bezos right now of porn. if I'm doing what he's doing right now at his age. It's amazing.
The thing is that when we started, I'm like, I have a little bit more experience in the business, so I feel like if we have a product and we polish a little bit the product, I feel like people will like this. Mm-hmm. So with the whole setup and the whole thing, I was just like trying to teach him like a little bit of camera angles and things like that. I do the whole editing, so he's like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about that. So I do the whole editing, but trying to teach him a little bit of like, this is blank space. Of course, this doesn't need to be there. So we're little by little we're learning. Every shoot that we do together.
Get the ball slap.
And I'm like, here, there, So
I was like, all right.
We know that it's not like I'm not trying to like.
Just try not to take it too seriously.
Exactly. Not take it personal, but I feel like people want to see something, and we want to give people something.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's basically it. So today, like we talked about, today is like January 5th, and it is officially like 1 year
Wow.
with him.
Since we started
I
dating.
mean, since we started dating, we met on the 17th of December,
Right.
and we were both with a bondage client. The client was into tying us up, and I had
Just take pictures of us.
yeah,
No sex involved.
just tie us up.
Isn't that the best?
Oh my God.
Those are the best clients.
It's for his like own personal use.
Yeah.
So like I was like in DC because I was like my ex was in DC, and I was like, I'm gonna win him back. You know what I mean? I'm gonna fucking win this guy back. And my ex basically told me to go fuck myself. So I'm like, all right, let me just get this fucking photo shoot done and be done with it and get the fuck home and fuck all of this shit. I swear to God. And like I get to the house and he walks in and I'm like, fuck. Seriously, like it was just sort of like there was this, I literally pulled his pants down in the kitchen and started eating his ass. I literally, and he's like, what do you, like, I think that happened.
Yeah.
So,
Eating his way to your heart.
The client was in the bathroom and then he came back. He's like, oh, so you're getting acquainted.
So, like, then we said, well, do you want to have dinner? And so we proceeded to have a horrible date.
Really?
Oh my God. Look.
Go ahead, of course.
We had the dinner, like I was just sort of like, because I put all my cards out on the table and I was like, he's out of, and he's told me, he was like, I was about to get the fuck up and get the fuck out. He stayed. Okay. So then we get back to his place and like, we were not prepared for the sex that we were going to have.
I thought I was. He didn't. He wasn't ready, and he thought I was about him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I'm done. Of course, I want some of that ass.
So when you say like the shit hit the fan, like the shit hit the fan,
the door,
the door, yeah. So and then fast forward just a little bit, and like so we get ready for bed, and I start having anxiety. Like it's cold, it's too hot. I'm in a strange place. He hates me. Like I couldn't sleep. So and he's starting to snore. So I'm like, this is a fucking disaster.
That's a lie because I don't snore.
Well, yes. So I'm like, I wake him up. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I said, I have to go. I'm really sorry. This is like, I'm just gonna go back to my hotel room. I feel really bad. I want to let you sleep. And he's like, okay. So I leave. And when
I'm drama free. I'm like, okay, sure.
So I leave and I'm going, that's it. I'm done. Fuck it. Like I just said, fuck it. That was a disaster of a fucking date. And like literally I'm on the mega bus home the next day and he's like, hey, calls me up and goes, hey, what's up?
I had a great time.
Hey, I just wanted to check if you're, how
I'm
you're
like,
doing.
Why are you talking to me?
Seriously, he's like,
you're talking to me after all of that? And then it just like exploded like into like the greatest. And then January 5th.
Well, actually, let me tell you though. On one of these days, I was watching one of the videos.
Yeah.
Like, it was December the 30th, and I was on my way here because I didn't have anybody like to spend New Year's with. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Why don't you come to New York and
go to the Eagle?
Go to the Eagle or something." I'm like, "I actually want to go to the ball drop." Which is insane.
Yeah. We're not going to the ball drop in Times Square.
Right, exactly.
We're going to the Eagle.
We're going to
get
Eagle,
drunk. Yeah.
And it was so much fun because Atlas Grant joined us with his boyfriend, Gio.
Yeah.
And we had such an awesome time. Yeah. And then we got home and...
Yeah, and the rest is like history. Mm-hmm. And I wanted like to have a conversation about something, and since it's a year, I have something for you. Yeah. And I want you to know that I love you very much.
Oh my God.
And I want to know if you're going to marry me, because I can't live without you. This is where you say yes.
I mean, listen, let me process it. Thank you. Yes, of course.
I knew it.
No, this is not the hand.
Oh, I have to put it on you.
Oh, no.
Good.
Mm.
There you go.
Thank you.
Your fat fingers.
And then,
There you go. What do you think? You have to read the inscription, but you can't take it out now.
I can't, of course. And I can't read because I... Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is Spanish.
Así es como se enamora
Oh.
tu corazón con el mío. It's his favorite song.
Wow.
You know, we
How
go
was
hard.
that?
We go hard here.
Thank you so much.
I love
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Ah.
Did you know? Did you have any idea? Did you?
No, I'm like, okay, sure, I'm
We're gonna get married. Like I said, but
that I know. I'm gonna marry this guy.
Well, that's good. Yeah, when he mentioned, because we were trying to put this together for a minute, and he's like, tomorrow's a very special day, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. I'll go in and we'll just get it all happen. I was like, I met you before porn.
This guy tamed the beast. I'm still an asshole. But this guy is just sort of like, it's okay. It's okay. Just, I mean, I don't know what to say about I don't know what to say except it took a minute.
Yeah.
It took a minute to get there.
Oh
So
my
thank
God.
you.
Thank you.
So
Shoot.
and you have, just so you know,
That's beautiful.
I'm a 12.
Okay. Okay, this is a really beautiful.
You got some shopping to do?
Right. Yeah. And actually, some big, that's okay. Big budget too.
What?
And some big budget to do too.
Well, we don't play around.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I love you very much, and he met my family this Christmas, and it was very special.
Actually, I wanted to talk about that. That now that he mentioned it was incredible to me, the fact that he had been living here since 2008, and he had never had his family over for anything.
Oh, wow.
It was basically there's a hotel lobby and roommates.
So it was, I
So it's a home now.
exactly, and I wanted to do that. And the thing is that I told him I want to have a balanced life. So whenever that door is closed, that is a home.
Yeah.
And whenever this door opens, of course, this is our crazy freaky life. His family came over and they spent Christmas Day here, and they were so happy, just seeing Achilles so happy.
Yeah.
And they made a toast about just for me saying that this is because of me.
Yeah, they're we know this is all you, but that's
Right.
no, I wrote a check. I Venmo'd him.
But
No.
I told
But
him
it's-
if I move here, we're gonna live like
Human beings.
human beings and normal people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was a monk that just left the fraternity. That's sort of. It was a bed. The dog had a cage. It was, that's it. But he did everything. So.
anyway, we're
Anyway.
happy together.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So that's the story.
I'm very, very honored too that you let me witness it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what do you guys have planned today for your special day?
Today we're probably going to go to the Venezuelan
There's a
restaurant.
Venezuelan restaurant. The thing is that we live in Astoria and we have Greek every time.
Yeah.
So there's
it's
the
so good.
best, but no, listen, the best Venezuelan restaurant I have ever been in the States is here.
Really? Okay.
And of course I'm from Venezuela and I know what's authentic here
Yeah.
and what's
so-
not.
Okay.
That place is really, really good. And so we're gonna go there.
Yeah. Nothing.
That's one thing I'll say about, I'll say a lot of things. I really do enjoy Queens, but Food here is amazing.
Oh my
Food,
God.
because it's like there's a lot
It's
of authentic.
really authentic.
They get down here, yeah.
Before we go, where do people find you guys?
Well, people can find me on Twitter. It's Furry Stud with the double F. Furry Stud.
Not a misspelling.
Right. Double F. And then that's on Twitter. That's like my porn persona, and also on Just for Fans and OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to see kind of the real me, that would be Instagram, which is Ruben Rod PA, RUBENRODPA. You can also see some of my art there and pictures of my butt too.
Yeah. It's Alex _Tikas, Tikas, Alex _Tikas, or you can just Google Alex Tikas gay, and everything pops up.
Yeah.
Same. Julian Torres is gay.
And then everything. But Alex _Tikas, Twitter and Instagram, and that's it. That's where you can find me.
Nice.
Well, there you have it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for inviting me into your home, your dungeon, meeting your lovely pet, and for this opportunity for you guys. I absolutely appreciate it. Go out, have a good time today, tomorrow, for the rest of your lives.
Amen.
Yeah.
Guys, you've been watching Alex Tikas, Julian Torres, IK Grande. If you watch gay porn, we've all helped get you off. Yes. So cheers to that. Appreciate it.